what does it mean to you to be inducted into the Hall of Fame?
To be inducted into the Hall of Fame. So I was surprised more than anything. I was like, wait a minute, no one I know would have recommended me for this. So I was very, very surprised to find out that someone I didn't even know threw my name into the hat. It was humbling, and it made me proud. It made me proud of where I've come from. And it made me realize what a fantastic opportunity this is to talk to all the kids who are out there who aren't sure what they want to be when they grow up. Because I was one of those kids once too. And I think that, one of the questions that Cassandra just asked me is, what would I tell the kids at Oakville Senior High School if I had a chance? And I would probably talk their ears off for about 4 or 5 hours, telling them all the things I could if I had the chance to do it. And so I consider this a platform through which to talk to those kids. I mean, there's a lot of us where, it seems like they're born knowing exactly what it is that they're meant to do. And there are a lot of us who are not really sure what we want to do when we grow up, and those would be the ones that I would talk to.
Yeah.
And I consider this a platform to be able to do that.
Okay, great. Can you just tell us what you do?
Sure thing. So right now I'm the commanding officer of the 4th Recruit Training Battalion at Marine Corps Recruit Depot Parris Island. In the Marine Corps we have 2 recruit depots, and in layperson's parlance that's boot camp. So I work at boot camp for the Marine Corps. So in the Marine Corps we have battalions out in San Diego, and male recruits go through San Diego, or male recruits go through Parris Island. All female recruits go through Parris Island, and they go through my battalion. So I work with drill instructors to turn recruits into Marines. That's my job. Best job I ever had. So I work with my drill instructors every day to do that, to make sure that we have these young men and women who step off the bus onto our yellow footprints, and they're disoriented, and they're probably questioning their judgment, like, oh, why did I do this? And by the end, they walk across the parade deck as Marines, and then they remember why it is that they do that. So we make Marines. That's what I do right now.
Why did you choose to go into the Marines?
So I chose to go into the Marine Corps. I had been a high school music teacher for 3 years. That's all I ever wanted to do. I was a music major in college. I was one of those rare individuals who never changed my major in college. So I started as a music major and ended as a music major because that's all I wanted to do was be a choir director in a high school. And that's exactly what I did. And when I finally got to the point where I was doing it, I realized it just was not a good fit. So I taught in Southwest Missouri for a year at Monette High School and Monette Middle School. It's about halfway between Springfield and Joplin. And then I came back to St. Louis and taught at Parkway Central High School for 2 years. And I had great kids, great parents, great administration. I love the other teachers, and it still didn't feel right. So I thought, if I'm in as good of a place as this, and I'm feeling this off about it, then I'm probably in the wrong job. So I decided to try something else. And when I opened up the phone book, when we still had phone books, now I don't think that you all ever have even seen a phone book, but I opened up the phone book, and the Marine Corps is the first ones that called me back. And I went to go visit them on Martin Luther King Day, and because I had a day off. And any of you who have ever had a music class know that you may not get a substitute teacher who knows how to teach music, and so making a lesson plan for a sub is more painful than just going to work no matter what happens. So anyway, it was to have a day off was handy. And so I went and I talked to the officer selection officer downtown and I explained to her what the situation was. I'm teaching right now, and a year from now I know I won't be teaching anymore. I just don't know what I'm going to be doing. And so she explained to me what the Marine Corps could do. And then she said, but if you don't know the difference between the services, you need to go talk to everybody else. So she sent me away. She said, you go away and you talk to all of them. She said, but you'll come back. And boy, was she right. So I kept talking with her. I kept asking her all kinds of questions, everything about the Marine Corps I could think of. Meanwhile, I went and I talked to the Navy, the Army, and the Air Force. Coast Guard didn't want to have anything to do with me because I don't have an engineering degree, but that's okay. And then I came back and I told her, all right, I'm ready to try the Marine Corps. And I thought, well, if I don't know what I want to do, I know I don't want to sit at home all day. Let's give this a whirl. And then I figured I'd be more marketable as a result if I tried the Marine Corps. And if I wanted to stay, maybe I could. And if I didn't, then at least I wouldn't have wasted my time. And then I came into the Marine Corps. I went to Officer Candidate School, which is like boot camp for officers. And then I went to the Basic School, which is where all of our officers go. It's a 6-month course in Quantico, where we all learn how to be rifle platoon commanders. And then I got to my first unit, and then September 11th happened, and then I deployed, and then I deployed again. And then the Marine Corps has this way of dangling carrots, opportunities of, things that you can do that you would never have been able to do as a civilian, and I fall sucker to every single one of those. There's a payback afterwards, of course. And then pretty soon, 19 and a half years goes by, and it's been the best decision I have ever made, again and again, is being in the Marine Corps. That's how I decided to join the Marine Corps.
That was a good answer. How did Oakville help you push towards your career?
So I think, and not just Oakville Senior High School, but Oakville Junior High School when it was still a junior high, and Woolwind. I think growing up in this area, I grew up learning common sense, and I grew up being held accountable for my actions. I grew up being entrusted to have responsibility for things beyond just myself, and I think that just that bedrock of small things in a progressive way helped me to be able to realize that there's more to the world than just me. I'm not the center of the universe, None of us are the center of the universe, except for, maybe in our parents' eyes. But you have I think coming from the Oakville and Mehlville area, there's a common sense about us that I didn't realize until I left, and then I run into other people from here. And it's like, oh my gosh, I have so much in common with you when I run into somebody that I graduated from high school with and maybe was never friends with them, or who went to Oakville Senior High School, like, oh my gosh, you went to Oakville, and then like you have this sense of solidarity with that person. And maybe everybody who runs into a high school buddy or a high school a fellow student from their high school or something experiences that same thing. But I think for this area, it's what I value more than anything else is the common sense I came away with from growing up here.
Is there anything else that you want to share or tell anyone?
Yes. For all those kids out there who may not know what they want to be when they grow up, that's totally fine. Like, even if you know exactly what it is you want to be when you grow up, and then you start on that path and you realize this doesn't really fit me, that's okay. If I had the chance to talk with any of the kids at Oakville Senior High School, I would talk their ears off for like hours. And I would love to just have a conversation with them and let them know that you don't have to be the best at everything. You don't have to be the most popular kid. You don't have to be the most exceptional athlete. You don't have to be the best at everything, but choose to be the best at one thing and then work your tail end off for that thing, because you can have whatever it is that is most valuable to you if you're willing to work for it. If you're willing to work hard enough for that thing, it can be yours, and don't let anybody stand in your way. And when you have obstacles, when you run into a brick wall, when you make a mistake, when you kick one in the stands, or when you trip and fall, all that you're expected to do is just get up and keep going. If what that thing is that you're reaching for is that important to you, don't let obstacles get in your way, and don't wait for anybody's permission to go after that thing. You choose to go after that thing, and then you make that yours.